Hey everybody, this is JDGaming back today with another Duel video for you guys. I am playing pure Metalfoes at the moment, something that actually, I guess it kind of is a variant of Magispector Metalfoes, but pretty much this is Billy Break's most recently unveiled build. The reason I wanted to try playing this is I figured in order to be able to go ahead and modify Metalfoes and kind of combine them with the other archetypes that I really want to, I'm going to have to go ahead and really learn the ins and outs of this deck, and I figured what better example to start off with than Billy Break's build. So this is pretty much that same thing if you've seen it on House of Champions, except I took out the 2 Desires and played Max C's, mainly because one, I don't see myself picking up a pair of Desires in real life, and I decided to play a tech that I feel fits fairly nicely into what I'm trying to do. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get started with this. Right now I'm just stacking some guys in the extra deck, but a cool thing that I learned is I can actually use this to trigger my combination and make it into a Rhoda. So that's what I'm doing here. And then I want a scale 1 that I'll be able to pendulum with. So we're gonna go for Gold Driver here. And by activating this one, I'll actually be able to special the 3 of these. And then Bumbuku will trigger, allowing me to go and add Kirin. I could go Kirin, or I could go for another Bumbuku and set up a scale 5 over here. I can still normal summon this turn, so Kirin is probably a better pick. And then I can go Metalfoes Fusion utilizing my Steelin. Let's set up a Mithrilium play. And let's see. Return this for the free draw as a standard, and cool, we got an emptiness. And in this situation I actually want to go and destroy, like, as awesome as it is to set up a Kirin, I want to set up a combination more because I do have this fusion. So we're actually going to do this. And now the cool thing is I could still loop into another Mithrilium using the combination, and then that would let me go and special something else out, which is pretty sweet. So let's see what this guy's deck is. I hope it's like Trains or something. Reckless Magic Circle. I do not know what this... I know this is the fusion, the new, like, yeah, Eidolon. I don't know exactly how to pronounce it, but I know it's that deck, but I don't know how this works. But they fusion summon a lot, so I'm going to actually hit it with Emptiness right now. So I guess I should have read the card. This thing is, it's one of those new field spells that goes and adds something to your hand immediately upon activation. So that's pretty interesting. But maybe he's going to draw a Lila or something. If you activate a card or effect that includes an effect that fusion summons a monster, which I should have changed it to. Activation cannot be negated. Also, your opponent can activate cards or effects when the monster is fusion summoned. But I could still chain it to the speller or whatever. You can only activate 1 Reckless Magic Circle per turn. Yeah. But in this case, better safe than sorry if I end up completely losing. I mean, I guess it's not better safe than sorry. That doesn't justify the fact that I literally just didn't read this card's effect before I played. But it is what it is. I'll have to keep an eye on that. So let's see, this is the Book of Moon effect. I mean, even if he flips me down, I could still go and fuse later. If he destroys my guy, then whoop-de-doo, I'll get to summon out another guy. So it's not the end of the world here. Though this does break the summon lock, which is kind of annoying. So Emptiness ended up not doing anything except potentially stopping me. Oh, actually, that's an interesting point here. I locked myself out with Emptiness because I'm not allowed to trigger it with Mithrilium. Mithrilium will trigger Emptiness dying, but it's still on the board until they're both dead, at which point Mithrilium is no longer just killed. So I actually cuffed my own strategy by doing this. And that's not a good thing to do, obviously. But let's see, I can still pendulum summon a magician. Or not a magician, Metalfoes. I want at least the Metalfoe. I want this. I'll keep the one in my hand. Do I get benefit from destroying this guy? why not? So even if I get hit by strike, I'll still have these guys in my hand to do something. I can minimize my losses. But he has not played it, which is pretty good for me, because this is an ideal situation where now I can go and do some stuff. Hand Destruction. Interesting choice of card. I mean, it's not like I'm going to get any benefit by fusing from my hand right now. So yeah, you could do that. So I gotta send Kieran to the grave, unfortunately. But there's no way around that. I mean, I can't draw into another card at the moment. Immediate is better than slow. And I don't really care about the scales right now, so let's see. Let's activate this. Then I can't go for Orichalc at the moment because I don't have a second Metalfoes monster. And that's a bit disappointing. I could destroy this and have a Metalfoes monster, but then I wouldn't be getting my Mithrilium back. Was a level lower than. So I don't really have anything huge I can bring out. Which means it makes more sense that I just destroy the combination, since it doesn't look like I'll be able to bring my guy back. However, this will allow me to fuse. Let's see here. Let's get a Bismagir so I can start using it. And now what I can do is go for a Mithrilium to return some of the stuff back. I want to get my combination. I want to keep that Mithrilium in there. We'll shuffle away. Well, it adds it back to the hand, which means I'd rather just keep his field blank. Because I can destroy the copy of this, but it'll only destroy my own monster. Return this. Let's see. At this point, I can normal this guy and have him be killed for a combination. Yes, I would like to use that effect. That'd actually be fantastic. Now I can do a decent chunk of damage to him, and I'm set up to be able to make like a giant play the following turn. So this is what I wanted it to get to. 2 Metalfoes fusions and a combination. Because now the cool thing with this is I want to activate Bismagir's effect, add a Volflame, just because I need a vanilla in my hand. So I want to activate this. I mean, realistically, I don't care if he makes me discard 2. He'll probably end up helping me out. I want to make sure I keep this up. There was a game I forgot to fuse this guy, and it just sucked so much because I couldn't follow up with a play anymore. I don't need Gofu right now. I'm already established a bit. So I want to go for Alcahest, which requires my normal monster. But now Mithrilium's been sent to the grave. Actually, I should have gone for my Orichalc. Yeah, Maxi is my deck's replacement for desires, mainly because I find it's really interesting with full Metalfoes. So let's see. He's going to mill until he has 22, so he mills 5. If he hits any special summon dude, then I can chain Maxi to that, so I don't see any reason to play right now. So let's see what he's set up. He's going to special this. Activate, activate, chain Maxi. Holding for this. I wonder if this is one of those like Gren Maju or like Necroface decks. It just might be, considering he has 17 cards banished already, and that's quite crazy. Oh, so you could play more than one of these per turn. That's interesting. Yeah, he has Gren Maju in here. So now that my thing has resolved, I get to draw. Book of Moon's gonna flip me down, but I can at least get rid of his monster for free doing this. And if he wants to go and special it again, then I'll just draw another card. Actually, I haven't even drawn yet. Let's see. Not a huge loss. That's a biggie. Fortunately for me, his card doesn't stop him or stop me from playing anything. And so I'm still allowed to fuse this guy into a pendulum of my choice, or into a fusion of my choice, because he's a pendulum. So looking at this, if I were to take his attack, he'd have nothing. So I'll do this. He doesn't have anywhere way to pierce me or anything. And if this is his only thing, then I can just destroy him this following turn. He has to set stuff. But looking at his deck, it doesn't look like he plays a ton of back row. Let's see, what's this do? Fusion, summon a fusion from your extra, but this is in the graveyard. If it's in your graveyard, you can banish it to add one of your banished guys. So let me see what he added. Because I have a bad habit, especially if it's a new card, I just don't read it and then I screw myself over. During either player's turn, you can send it from the hand of the graveyard to target a fusion monster you control, have it gain a bunch of attack. But he doesn't have anything to fuse with, so as far as I'm concerned with my minimal knowledge of this deck, he shouldn't have any way of doing anything to me. Let's bounce that to the hand. I want to... If I could fuse for Orichalc, I could bring that back. But at the moment, I can't fuse. Let's special summon a couple Metalfoes from the extra deck. And that's really it. Nothing else is required. And then I can go and play another Metalfoe. Destroy that, and that'll let me get a fusion. And now this is cool because I can activate the fusion for the Orichalc, which will let me bring back my other Mithrilium. And by utilizing this scale here, I can destroy this for a full Metalfoes for the following turn. Trigger that for the free search. I want Bismugear in this case. And then I can still return the fusion for a free card. So nothing else here is immediately useful. He may still have like a weird hand trap or something. But if he doesn't, this is game. Oh cool, that works during either turn. Wow, Fairy Tale Snow is a pretty cool card. It's weird when they make things short print instead of just making them, nowadays especially supers. It's like, why not just bling them out? Especially if they could be this popular. So now I can't damage him a ton through the Ori calc, which is unfortunate. So that's the cool thing. It can keep working, and it doesn't care how many times. So it ends up serving as a huge defensive wall or Xyz material. That's how that card works. Very cool. So, I'm gonna have to end as is right now. If he tries to do anything funny, I can fuse one time. Ori calc can help me kill off something. I can't go Alcahest at the moment because I don't have a vanilla on board. So it's a bit unfortunate, but we're gonna have to do this. Alright, so this is the fusion, this is the walking ultimate provenance. That's a lot of attack points. If he connects, he wins. And he has the spell. Wow. If it were a cost, I'd at least be able to send Orichalc to the grave and destroy that guy, but wow, kudos to him. 11,800 points straight to the face. I'm not even mad, realistically. Alright, guys, so we are back over here with the replay here, and basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at things and decide what could I have done differently. So looking at my opening hand, the fact that I have 2 Metalfoes is okay. It's a decent start because I have Archfiend Eccentric here, and her ability allows me to trigger combination immediately, excuse me, in order to be able to Rhoda for an additional copy. So given the fact that I had 2 scale 8s and this, I think this was a good play. I don't know if it was, like, let me know if you see a different play. But this is pretty much just sending this thing for retrieval immediately. Scaling between those because I want to build a combination and full Metalfoes as soon as possible. So this let me bring back this. Now what I'm thinking here is fusion choice. I ended up going for a Mithrilium here, which is an interesting choice. The reason I went and normaled that Metalfoes is because, actually no, I pendulumed him. So I could still have tributed. Now, I cared more about setting this up. The big thing, I guess, here is I should not have used the... Whoa, that field spell changed. I should not have used Vanity's Emptiness immediately, because that ended up cuffing myself. So ideally what I should have done is, 1, just because I see a new card doesn't mean I shouldn't read it. If it's new, especially if it's something as big as their field spell, read it. No excuse. And then once I know what that thing does, I can go ahead and actually chain it if he decides to use whatever fusion spell. In this case, he had nothing besides instant fusion. So like, it would have been a nice 1-for-1 to at least get rid of the instant fusion. And then he would have been down a card at the very least. In my case, I just lost my emptiness and my free recovery floating guy for no reason, which is unfortunate. He did force me to get rid of Kieran, which is kind of annoying, because that would have been very helpful later in the game. Fetching this for a second Mithrilium. Here, again, I really should have gone for Orichalc if possible, using the Bismagir. And the reason for that is that would have allowed me to recover the Mithrilium anyway, before when the combination existed. So that's another misplay I made, specifically with Metalfoes in this case. But that's the type of thing that I'm trying to learn through this. I'm hopefully going to get better at this deck. So we'll end up seeing if this sticks in my brain. I'm going to have to practice more often, honestly. Fortunately, I am busy until Thanksgiving, but after that, my semester's done at school, pretty much. So I will have more time to dedicate to just having fun with Yu-Gi-Oh! Again. So, should be good. It's weird that a lot of my cards are like see-through. I don't understand why. And like the combination was like that earlier too. It's like I don't know what's going on, but yeah. Here, let me see. I fused for the Alcahest. Again, I had a chance to go for the Orichalc, so that's the second time I missed this play. Basically, I need to be willing not to use the Mithrilium immediately, because especially in this case, he has no threatening monster on the board yet, and since Alcahest can trigger even during like the attacking part of the battle phase, I can just go safely summon Orichalc. I have another copy of Fusion, so I'm safe to go Orichalc, bring back Mithrilium with combination, and then later, when he does something threatening, I can fuse the Mithrilium into whatever, like the Alcahest, and then the Alcahest will be able to suck up something, and the Mithrilium will still end up giving me this material. So I end up gaining more by summoning Orichalc first, and I haven't been doing that, which is honestly really, really silly, but again, learning process. The bad use of Max C, the way I did it just now, chaining it to this weird thing where, I mean, he was able to just keep chaining and I didn't get a single draw. Fortunately, I still did have this. But again, if I had a Alcahest at the end here, I would have had many more resources to go off of. And another thing, I guess now, knowing what like this Lightsworn Gren Maju deck does, realizing that if I'm not attacking that turn, I might want to keep things in defense position. But then again, leaving yourself into defense is very interesting because things like Orichalc actually are the reason why you end up losing games if you leave Gofu tokens or whatever, or set something as a random ditch defense. So in that sense, Gren Maju is interesting in that it's poised to take advantage of a trend that's happening competitively because of one of the top tier strategies. I wouldn't be surprised if that's one of the reasons why the deck is doing a lot better than normal. It's because Metalfoes warped the metagame for them in a way where they can take advantage of those attack position monsters and just push for game. And that was the unfortunate loss. But yeah, those are a few of the big problems with playing Metalfoes that I personally noticed. Let me know down below if you guys have any suggestions on how I should be playing this strategy, particularly in this game, if you have any examples, and then I'll just continue working on this, try to polish up a little more, and over time, reduce some of the mistakes that we have here. So thanks guys, this is JDGaming. Hope you guys enjoyed this disaster of a learning experience, but nonetheless, I thought it was fun. It was a good enriching moment for me. So yeah, see you guys.